welcome to another Sci-Fi Fantasy Saturday. Today, we're going fantasy with Cartographers, a role-player tale. This is from ThunderWorks, and this is set in the role-player universe. What is the role-player universe? Well, here is role-player, and I also have the Monsters and Minions expansion. But what Role Player was, or is a basically a fantasy game that takes the act of creating a character and turns it into a game. If any of you have ever played Dungeons and Dragons or any of the various role-playing games, a lot of them share a common feature of rolling dice for your characteristics and developing your character. And that's what Role Player does, is you're basically developing a character by rolling dice, and it's a dice rolling and manipulation game, and how you place the dice, and you're trying to come up with the best character with the best characteristics. And so that's what Role Player does. And then Monsters and Minions actually has you taking that character and going off on kind of quest and fighting stuff. So but it took the act of rolling up a player and making it into a game. So what does Cartographers do? Well, Cartographers is just set in that same universe and has some of the same some commonality with it, but it is a totally different game. This is kind of a roll and write, or better yet, probably flip and write. So let's take a look at the back of the box here. Let's pull it up so I can read it. Queen Gymnax has ordered the reclamation of the northern lands. As a cartographer in her service, you are sent to map this territory, claiming it for the kingdom of Nalos. But you are not alone in this wilderness. The Dragul contests your claims with their outposts, and so you must draw your lines carefully to reduce their influence. Reclaim the greatest share of the queen's desired lands, and you will be declared the greatest cartographer in the kingdom. And so what you see, you're going to be flipping these cards over, and that will tell you what you need to, what territories or features of the map that you draw in those type of configurations on your map. And so you're kind of filling in this map and filling in certain spaces or accomplishing certain of these cards will get you extra points, and that's what you're trying to do for the game is meet the certain desired missions or quests or cards, and fill in your map and score points. And so this is very much a, as I said, probably a flip and write is probably the best way to say it. It can be played for, let's see how many players can play this, 1 to 100 players. And the reason they say 100, because I think there's 100 sheets in here, I believe. And I believe they're two-sided, so you get two different types of maps that you can compete on. But it's for 1 to 100, so the solitaire aspect is interesting. But then this is, again, multiple people can play. But again, this is, like with a lot of roll and writes and flip and writes, it's kind of a, multiplayer solitaire, because you're just kind of concerned with your map and what you're trying to accomplish on it. But it's still interesting nonetheless. And this is received a certain amount of acclaim as one of the better roll/flip and write games out there. So I eventually decided that I needed to pick this up. So let's open the box and see what we have inside here. And if any of you have played Cartographers, love to know your thoughts on it. How does it fit in the roll and flip and write world? Is it really all that? Is it a good game? Another thing that drew me to it is not only that I like Role Player, I like that universe, and so that was a little bit of a draw. The aspects that this is a solid flip and write drew me in. And one of my degrees is in geography, so I'm going back to my roots here. So here's the box. Here is the catalog for ThunderWorks. All that Role Player stuff that we just saw in there. And there's Role Player Adventures. I don't have that. Lock Up Breakout. I think they're in that same universe as well. Here's Cartographers. Here's an expansion for Heroes for this, which adds can you imagine, heroes to cartographers, so add a little bit different gameplay. These are different map packs that you can get for cartographers to add some more variety to your game. Plus, they'll add different maps and add a few more cards to it, and some of the other games that they have in here. So there you have that. There's a little catalog. Got a little flip through the catalog. Here's the rule book, and then here's a mobile app. It's kind of cool. Scan or code or learn more. So I wonder if that, what that costs. So a little mobile app there. Let's look at the rules, which are 12 pages long, and the back page is solo mode. So here's your components, which are map sheet, explore cards, scoring cards, ambush cards. So it's not just a typical flipping like, oh, I got to fill that in. There's going to be cards that mess you up, or stuff you have to fill in on the map, or kind of mess with your plans of what you're trying to do to meet these scoring cards. The ambush cards kind of do that. Edict cards, and you got some pencils there. Look at that. Here's game setup. Draw phase, and this is where you're going to be drawing the feature that's on the card in the designated kind of a configuration. Here's the different terrain types. You've got a forest, village, farm, water, monster, and mountain. You got end of season, end of game, and scoring cards. And here's some explanation of some of the cards. And they have solo mode, so not a lot of rules there. This isn't an overly complex game. There is a big pad of maps here, and as you can see, here's your map where you can put your name of your cartographer, your title. And there's some areas that are already filled in, and these ruins, you get stuff if you cover those up. And these gold coins is kind of your scoring points. And then how you kind of a scoring by season here at the end here. And there's a different map on the back. You get a little bit of a wasteland or area that you can't use there. But you get a whole pad of those. And then we get some pencils, some nice little pencils there. And then we get a deck of cards, which that is the game here. This is basically it's those maps. And this deck of cards here that is the game. And so when you add in map packs, it's relatively, you're just adding another deck or another pad of maps for that specific little map pack. And then some, there's usually, I think, 2 or 3 cards or 3 cards that add some unique ability to that map. Like I think one map is like a volcano. And there's some cards that do lava flow and stuff like that. So let's look at what we have. Here's the cards. We have backstory. Oh, this is a cartographer. So this goes to role player. So now this is not part of this game. This just goes to the role player. So now you can be a cartographer. When you're setting up your character, you're setting up different aspects, and one of them is like it's this is the backstory. And so this is the cartographer. And if you get the dice, the colored dice in these positions for these different characteristics, you're going to get a certain amount of points. If you get 2 to 3, you get 1. If you get all 6, you get 6 points. So you're trying to place the dice. But that's role player. We're not talking about role player. We're talking about cartographer. So that's cool. So we got some cards that have a letter on the back, and the rest of we have some that have all 4 seasons on the back. Then we have some that have, so there's different cards here. These are the different types of terrain, I guess. Anyway, all right. So let's I'll put all these together, and then let's look at these cards here. These are like there's the winter season. Oh, hold on. Here's the season cards. So you have 4. So you have spring, summer, fall, and winter. And then you'll pull out letter cards for that, of what's going to score. Then you have these letter cards here, A, B, C, and D. And they'll tell you what are going to be the scoring cards there. And then you have, here are the various cards here. Not sure what the different things are here. Let's put these out and take a look at these separately. So we have a Goblin Attack, Bugbear Assault. So these are these assault cards or ambush cards that kind of mess up your attack. They're called Ambush. This is Temple Ruins, Outpost Ruins, the Great River. And so if you put the river in this allotment here, like in 3 in a row, and you can orientate it different, up and down or to the side, and you'll get a coin for doing that. Otherwise, you do this and you don't get a coin. So these are the different choices you have for doing river, and you'll you'll draw that in on the map. You'll draw in those waves, and everybody's art's going to be different, but you just immediately need to denote that that's water, and then you got farmland, hamlet. So these are the different cards that will come up in that season that you have to accomplish. And I think these are the so those are the different cards that come up, and then these are the scoring cards, I believe. And so it tells you this. Some of these are 1 player. They have 1 P on there. So maybe this is for the solo game, maybe. I'll have to look at that. Have to read up on that, but there's these look kind of like they're scoring cards there. Anyway, so that's what you get in a box of Cartographer. Gotta get the pencils out there. As I said, a lot of people, rave about this game and say it's one of the best out there. It looks relatively simple to set up and to start flipping and then getting into the game there. So let's go out a little bit and take a look at everything you get in the box of Cartographers. Anyway, love to know your thoughts on this one. This is a relatively easy game to get into, and I do like this aspect that it's solo, but a lot of roll and writes are kind of solo because it's rolling and writing, or it's flipping and writing, or different aspects of that. So anyway, that's what I have for you today. Love to know your thoughts, and hey, take care. Thanks for watching.